Alright, so behind these walls back here, we have 2 tier lists of Rec Room Originals. Stick around to the end of the video to find out how we ranked each Rec Room Original. Yes. What? Dang! Oh dang! Oh my god! Get down! Get down! Oh! Well, here I am in the big open room for tier lists. Wow! So as I said before, we're here to rank every single Rec Room Original either in S, A, B, C, D. The worst is F. So let's get ranking, I guess. Alright, up first we have the classic Golden Trophy. Okay, so Golden Trophy, like I said, it's kind of a classic. I mean, everyone has played it like hundreds of times at some point in their Rec Room career. We all grinded for that gear, you know, you wanted the outfits, and it was fun while it lasted. I mean, Golden Trophy still is a great quest. It's not the most detailed, but it was the first, it was the original, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it A tier. Up next is Jumbotron. Alright, so with Jumbotron, I don't think it's as iconic as Golden Trophy, although I do remember, you know, grinding the quest for the loot, trying to get S rank and all that. You know, I played it as much as Golden Trophy, I would say, but I think Golden Trophy still has an edge over Jumbotron. So I'm gonna put Jumbotron at B. Alright, next, our third quest is Crimson Cauldron. I might catch some hate for this, but Crimson Cauldron is my favorite quest. I've said it before in the past. It's basically like an upgraded version of Golden Trophy. Therefore, my first S rank is Crimson Cauldron. Next up, we have Isle of the Lost Skulls. Isle is a very fun quest, but I don't find myself playing it that often. So I don't tend to play Isle of the Lost Skulls as much as these 3 quests right here, but I do have to say I enjoy it. The aspect of getting new weapons is really awesome. The flintlocks are cool, the weapons are really cool, and I just think it's an overall really good quest. I just don't play it as often, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and give it a B. Right, here is the last quest on our board, Crescendo of the Blood Moon. The thing about Crescendo is that it's such a well-made quest. You can tell the developers took their time, you know, they made these new weapons. They're really awesome weapons too, like the whip is super cool, and I love the blunderbuss is really awesome. I like the melee weapons, like the shovels and rakes are really awesome, but the thing is I don't play it as much because none of my friends really play it. But that being said, even though I don't play it as much, it makes up for quality and enjoyment whenever I play it, so I'm gonna go ahead and put Crescendo at A. Next up, we got Paintball. So all of the quests are rated, time to get into actual Rec Room Original activities. Paintball is the first one, probably, arguably, the most popular Rec Room Original. I don't really like Paintball. That's it, that's the statement. I don't like Paintball as much as Quest. I don't like Paintball as much as most other Rec Room Originals. I mean, I just don't like it, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and give it a D. That's where I would place Paintball on my list. So the reason Paintball's not an F for me is because sometimes it's somewhat enjoyable. I think the maps are classic. I used to play Paintball a lot when I was a low level, but you know, I really don't play it anymore. Just for the nostalgia, I'll give it 1 up. I won't give it F, just because of the nostalgia. Alright, what's up next? We got... What you say? Anyway, next up we have Dodgeball. Alright, so we have my Rec Room Original, Dodgeball. I'm the Dodgeball montage guy. I do this for a living. And just kidding, I don't make any money from this, but I do Dodgeball, you know? I have to give Dodgeball an S. So of course Dodgeball has its ups and downs, which I've covered in these videos, but overall it's one of my favorite Rec Room Originals, and there's a reason I've been playing it for all these years. Next up we have Rec Royale. Rec Royale is actually a really fun game. Overall, you know, having a huge map with a bunch of chests and like having all this different loot and like getting your weapons together to fight each other. I don't know, it's like such a cool concept, and I feel like it's executed way better in Rec Royale than in games like Fortnite. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it an A. Next up we have Showdown. So the release of Showdown was hyped up so much, and we all kind of thought, or at least I thought, that it was going to be like a Wild West themed new quest, but it turned out as this. Basically a reskin for Paintball, another PvP Rec Room original. I'm not a fan of PvP, I'm gonna be honest. So the new weapons and animations were cool, so I'm not gonna give it an F, but I am gonna go ahead and put Showdown at D. And next we got Disc Golf Lake. So the thing about Disc Golf Lake is that I really only play it when it's a challenge on the weekly. It's kind of an easy one to do when you can do all of those tricks, like you can just hit the disc or put the disc in the rolly cart. But I never played Disc Golf Lake normally because it's boring. So for Disc Golf Lake, I'm gonna go middle of the road, C. Next up, Disc Golf Propulsion. So for Disc Golf Propulsion, I'm actually going to put it one lower than Disc Golf Lake, because Disc Golf Lake is easier for me at least. I always go to Disc Golf Lake when I need to complete a weekly, not Disc Golf Propulsion. So yeah, it loses the usefulness. I never go to Disc Golf Propulsion. Next up is 3D Charades. Speaking of games I never play, 3D Charades is one of them. I remember playing it like once when I was a really low level, when I was really new to the game. I've never played it since. This is a game that I will not play. I mean, I think it's kind of boring. It's also annoying because like people are just constantly guessing the wrong thing, like guessing words. Everyone's just shouting at each other. I just don't think it's a fun game at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and put 3D Charades down at F. Next up, we got Rec Rally. Man, we really put all the boring games together, didn't we? I'm gonna make an official statement. Rec Rally, I think, personally, is the most boring game in all of Rec Room. Rec Rally is like if you had Mario Kart, but you just took all the fun out of it. You know how people say something is on steroids when it's like way better than it or something? Rec Rally is Mario Kart on depressants. Rec Rally is literally just a race around in a circle. There's no power-ups at all. You just collect these little soda cans to boost. The map is so uninteresting. I think the game would have been better if it had power-ups like Mario Kart and the track was actually appealing, and or if they had different tracks, because this is the only track. You go in this same track every single game. It's so boring. For that reason, I'm going to put Rec Rally at F. Next up, Stunt Runner. So I remember when Stunt Runner came out, there was a big campaign like with Showdown. They had like skid marks and tire marks in the rec center, and they had the Stunt Runner like crate and Jumbotron or whatever. It was hyped up a lot, and it turned out just to be this like tacky parkour race. I don't know. The mechanics that it introduced at the time were pretty cool. The climbing, the wall running, things like that. It was actually pretty cool to do that. And Stunt Runner was fun for the first couple times. You know, I would play it for like maybe a week or two, and then it just got boring. Same problem as Rec Rally. There's only one map. So, you know, it just gets boring after a couple times. It is a little better than Rec Rally, I will say, though, because it introduced a lot of cool mechanics into the game that we still use in community maps and stuff. So, for that reason, I'm gonna put Stunt Runner in D. Bowling. So, bowling's pretty cool. It's a cool looking room. It's small, but it's cool looking, I think. It's like a real bowling alley. I mean, they did a pretty good job with the mechanics and everything, but the thing is, nobody plays bowling. The only reason anyone would play bowling is to get the dude sweater. I'm gonna go ahead and put bowling in D. Next we have soccer. So this one's interesting. I actually like soccer. I think the gameplay is pretty cool. It's like Rocket League, but humans. I like that they chose to do a huge ball with that kind of physics instead of like a tiny ball with fake feet or whatever. And I think it's kind of fun. The game is kind of laggy at sometimes. You know, the ball doesn't go where it's supposed to a lot of the times, but even though I don't play it often, I do find it very fun. It's not Jumbotron or Isle level, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it in C. Next, we have Paddleball. Alright, here we have Rec Rooms first. Here we have Rec Rooms first, and most boring game, Paddleball. I know I said Rec Rally was the most boring game in Rec Room. If there were to be a close second, it would be Paddleball. It's really boring. It's just boring, that's it. Therefore, Paddleball goes right next to Rec Rally in its rightful place in the F category. We're almost done. Next up, we have the Rec Center. So the Rec Center is the social hub of Rec Room. It doesn't have many things that are special about it, like any of these other games. It's not really a game, but it is a Rec Room original, so I guess we do have to rank it. I don't exactly agree that is on par with Jumbotron or Isle. So if we were ranking each tier in order, I would put the Rec Center at the bottom of B. Next we have the Lounge. The Lounge is interesting because it's kind of old. It's like the Rec Center, but it's more of like a intimate space. I think the aesthetics are cooler than the Rec Center. I like the couches, you know, I like the stage, I think it's cool, and all the little dice and cards and stuff that are in it. So I would put it at B as well. Next up, we have the park. So for me, the park is kind of uninteresting. It's in a similar vein as like it's a social hangout area, such as the Lounge and Rec Center. But it's kind of uninteresting to me. I don't know. I never really go there. It seems kind of low effort. I don't know. I just don't like the park as much as the other two. So I'm gonna give it a C. So lastly, we have orientation. So the orientation is meant to introduce new players to Rec Room, and honestly, I think it does a really good job of that. It's way better than the dorm room orientation that we used to have, and I think it's just a really nicely put together room that does a great job at introducing new players. Therefore, I'm going to put orientation in the middle of the road C. This is because you only go there once. It's not a game, it's just to introduce new players. It does its job, but nobody's going there to have fun. So, C. Alright, so there you have it. My official ranking of every single Rec Room original in the game. Alright, so to start, the S tier, we have Crimson and Dodgeball. Top tier Rec Room originals right there. We go down a tier, we have Golden Trophy, Crescendo, and Rec Royale. In the B tier, we have Jumbotron, Isle, the Rec Center, and the Lounge. Down in the C, mid tier, we have Disc Golf Lake, Soccer, the Park, and the Orientation. Down in the D tier, we have Paintball, Showdown, Disc Golf Propulsion, Stunt Runner, and Bowling. Here at the F tier, we have Laser Tag, 3D Charades, Rec Rally, and Paddleball. So now that I have my ranking, let's go check out what Alpaca did. So we finished each of our tier lists, and they're behind these two walls. Behind this wall is Alpaca's tier list. We're gonna go ahead and take a look. 3, 2, 1. Bum. Bunk. Whoa. Alright, I see. Dodgeball is in B tier. Let's get a closer look at this. B for ball. Dodgeball. Bruh. But it's still S tier for you. Wow. That's cool. Rec Royale? I agree. Yes. Better than paintball, better than laser tag. Makes sense. So like you put Jumbotron and Crimson in A tier, but Golden's in B, Dodgeball in B. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. You think so? I mean, sure, it's kind of... They're kind of like done with it, though. Ah, I see. So the tools that could come out of it could be useful for the community, kind of like what Stunt Runner did, as like, yeah. I see you in bowling, soccer. That makes sense. They're all like mid. You put paintball in the same place I did. Right, so, and then obviously rec rally, boring, paddleball, boring, lounge, you know, that makes sense that it's down there. Don't really do anything in it. Oh. Whoa! Whoops. That was an accident. Then F, of course, laser tag. We don't need an explanation for that. What? Really? I said the exact opposite. Oh. I thought it was a good tutorial. Well, I mean, it shows you some things. I just think it was well made. Like, the buildings and stuff was well made. It shows you donuts. So if you want to see how this tier list was made, you can head on over to Alpaca's channel. It'll be the first link in the description. So that's it for this video. If you want to see more tier lists like this, or just more videos in general, you can go ahead and subscribe down below, like the video if you enjoyed it. So that's it from us for now. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.